what you're explaining to us, it clearly worked for you. We were very happy to say. But the real worry, particularly in this age of social media, isn't the information, it's the misinformation.
Absolutely.
And people can become self-appointed experts. So how can you distinguish between the chaff and the wheat, if you pardon the pun?
No, absolutely, and there's so much wellness noise out there, and that's kind of my approach, is to simplify and to cut through the noise. Obviously, like you said, there are so many self-appointed experts. But I suppose when you are trying to decipher who to listen to, don't just go off followings or, you know, clickbait kind of content. It's always kind of going back to, you know, if you are going to bring in some habits into your routine, take a step back, and, you know, common sense kind of plays a role in it, obviously, but looking at a person's, you know, qualifications, their, you know, case studies with clients, you know, their background, really. But if advice is overly restrictive, if it's telling you to cut out entire food groups, sustainable, one that doesn't cut out food groups, doesn't villainize foods, you know, it's all about balance, it's all about slow and steady wins the race. Long term.
We need to talk about falsehoods and some of the stuff that you've seen. I mean, are there standouts that you went, oh, sweet lamb of the divine, how do they think people are going to buy into this?
Oh, there's a few. But also just like the carnivore diet, that's another one that I think stands out to me. And obviously there are people which certain diets will really support, but they're in the minority, not the majority. So I think with things like carnivore diet, it completely disregards fiber as an essential nutrient and focuses solely on protein.
Yeah.
And you know, when it comes to your nutrition, like I said before, the foundation is what really supports us. Think of it like a house. We need a strong foundation.
Someday, these TV programs are going to reach out to me and allow me to come on to balance the arguments, because I could easily talk about this for an hour, easily. So I'm going to try my best to get this done in around 15-20 minutes. But before I start talking about this, I want you guys to watch these few examples first.
So I'll throw up my hands and praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I've nothing else fit for a king.
Woo! Yeah!
Name one diet, just one diet that does this without taking medication or supplements. While you guys are thinking about that, I'm going to continue on with this video. Okay, so she mentions cutting out food groups as overly restrictive. But then when I come along and mention what exactly am I missing out on eating an animal-based diet, tell me exactly what I'm missing out on, they'll come back and say, well, the first thing you're missing out on is vitamin C. I'll go back to that in a second. But everything else, I'm getting vitamins and minerals, everything that I need, all the energy that I need in an animal-based diet. Now, when it comes to vitamin C becomes less efficient when you're on an animal-based diet. You guys need to understand that. Next, hot topic right now, and that's fiber. You guys will always keep on telling me on a regular basis that I need fiber, and I'm always telling you guys that I feel so much better without it. And it's not just me, it's the people that I work with, and there's so many other people out there that'll tell you the exact same thing. These people will also say they have no issues with digestion, they have no issues with going to the toilet, everything feels really, really good. They don't have any issues with hunger, they don't have any issues with cravings, but you guys will completely ignore this and still convince us that we need fiber. Now, anytime these experts talk about carnivore, you can be damn sure two things are going to pop up. That's going to be LDL and that's going to be cholesterol. Every fucking time. But despite the fact that I have many videos on this explaining this, okay, every single one of us are on a low-fat diet at the moment. Every single one of us. You only need to walk into your shop. What do you see on these products? Low-fat. That's all we see. Now, are we in a situation where our health has improved? I'm not sure. All I see is when people are in pain, they're taking more fucking painkillers. All I see is when people develop type 2 diabetes, you've been given metformin. All I see is when people are struggling with fucking mental health. Here's an antidepressant, this is going to fix the problem. Oh, I'm overweight, I'm struggling with my weight. Here's Ozempic, this is going to fix the problem. Really? Is this the only solution we can come up with? I'm nearly there, just bear with me for a few more minutes. Because I have to keep repeating this message, guys, so you can actually understand both sides of the argument and you can make up your own minds. We need to take matters into our own hands, okay? Not go by what these experts say. Go by how you feel. That's what I had to do. I had to go how I feel. And when I went against these people's advice and I implemented a high-fat diet, things improved in my life, guys. As I've mentioned this in my videos, okay? My mental health improved, my joint pain went away, I'm in the best physical health, I look absolutely incredible, I've no more hunger issues, I've no more cravings. Things have just improved. So what I'm trying to say is this: before you actually listen to these people, why don't you not just try it? Take matters into your own hands. What have you got to lose? Give it at least 3 months. Go straight into it. Now, when she mentions that carnivore is a high protein diet, it's not a fucking high protein diet. You need to add the fats in, guys. Now, I know if a lot of people are going to convince you into thinking that fats are the problem and we need to stay away from fats when we're trying to lose weight. And it makes perfect sense, because when we look at the 3 macronutrients, fats, yes, do contain the amount of calories, the highest amount of calories. This is what we were taught. I was taught the exact same thing. But this is what we're focusing on, guys. We're only focusing on weight loss, and that's all these experts are coming up with. They're only focusing on a calorie deficit. These experts are absolutely convinced that if you guys lose weight, you're going to be healthy. Forget about the food that you're eating, because this is what they're all talking about. It's just the fucking law of thermodynamics. Forget about the type of food that you're eating. A calorie is just a calorie. It has nothing to do with that, guys. We're focusing on the wrong problem. We're only focusing on weight loss. We should be focusing on your overall health. But what we're not told is this, and that's the insulin response each of these macros is going to have on the body. So let's go through them. So let's start off with the main one, and that's carbohydrates. Will this have a huge impact on insulin, on our blood sugar? You can be damn sure yes, 100%. Now, let's talk about protein. Will you get an illicit response, insulin response from eating too much protein? Yes, you will, but it won't be as much as carbohydrates, nowhere near. Now, let's talk about fats. Will you get an insulin response from eating fats? No. And this is where this myth needs to disappear today, guys. Fat does not make you fat. Fat is important to our health. Cholesterol is important. The higher the cholesterol is, the healthier you guys are going to be. Okay, and it's amazing how these people just don't understand this. If you guys want to improve your health and you want to heal a lot faster, we should be adding more fat to our diet, not removing them. Lastly, I'm going to finish off with this video, and then I'm going to put a video on after it, because this here is the funniest one of them all.
Okay.
This has been huge online. I've seen so much of this, but you would never eat a carnivore diet.
No, I might get in trouble for this one, but a carnivore diet is a diet that's essentially solely based on animal products, so meats, dairies, eggs. Unfortunately, that means you have a diet that is very high in animal fats, those saturated animal fats, and they're what we call atherogenic, which means they can deposit in the arteries in our body, and that includes your heart arteries, your neck, your brain. So it puts you at risk of heart attack.
Do this one or this one? Which one? Let's do this one.
Okay, here we
There's
go.
less glare. Ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, so this is your heart, and then up on top, this is your aorta. It kicks off a big branch called the left main, and which goes to the left anterior descending here, and it kicks off another one down the bottom over here called the circumflex. On the right side, it kicks off a little branch that comes off the aorta here, and you can see the little dot back in there called, there it is again, that's the right coronary artery, and those do not have any calcium at all.
So what does that mean, doctor?
What does that mean? Well, the good news is if we look at the chart here, for your age, and I'm not calling you old or young, for your age, you're actually less than 25. You're better than 75% of people. And if we look at it, you know, at your score of 0, your chances of having coronary artery disease is very low, less than 5%.
There we go. That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now let's just take this in for a second. This lady, Lisa her name is, she's been eating red meat, butter, probably eggs and bacon now for the last 4 years. I'm pretty sure she told me she's on this now for the last 4 years. She goes to see her doctor. She asks to get a CAC scan. It comes up 0. The doctor mentions at the end of the video, when it comes to having a heart attack, your chances are less than 5%. Okay, listen to that again, less than 5%. So I'm hoping that these experts watch this video and you guys can come back to me with a perfect explanation why.